And welcome to monthly stream. It's November 2022, and here we are once again for your questions and answers. That is, you do the questioning, I do the answering, or roughly that's so. And as always, it's time for beer. What just happened before I was preparing for the stream, packing some CDs to be sent and all that stuff. Guess what? Empty can. I'll gonna fetch one since nobody's on the stream yet. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back in 1 minute, 30 seconds. Give it go. Here we have can opener, bottle opener. Fuck. So, as promised to you people, I would be back with a beer, something that I actually brought from the Nordic Metal Cruise last weekend, Lagunitas IPA. This is some of my favorite IPA stuff, India Pale Ale and all that stuff. Now, once again, I really don't have a topic for today's stream. I do have some ideas in my mind, of course, but there is no particular topic regarding that. So I welcome you to the stream, and I hope you have some interesting questions that I hope to answer you. And it feels like eternity since I've done the last stream. It feels like months, but probably not too many weeks, really. Things have but just going so fast lately, meaning there are lots of things to be done, lots of things have happened, and all that stuff. The first thing about doing something to get stuff done is obviously the relocation thing I mentioned in the last week's video. That is, after Christmas, before New Year's Eve, I'm temporarily moving house, which means you're not gonna see this backdrop. That is my home office for a while, a few months, supposedly anyway. After I've been moving around a little bit, and that means that I will be doing every content for a few months outside Finland, and details are yet to be discussed, but pretty much the plan is solid, and it should not too much affect the videos done, but it would essentially mean, at least in terms of reviews, way less unboxing. And the reason is this: I'm not, of course, bringing my review CDs, the whole lots of them, with me to the very new location. So what I'm leaving behind is, of course, most of my belongings. I'm just taking a small amount of clothing, of course, computer and all, and that's pretty much the basics. Just the normal electronic devices, which means I won't be able to do unboxing there until some people start sending the CDs to the new address. And during that time, when there is no unboxing really to be done, the reviews probably are more focused on just the music and the whatever I have there for information, metal archives and whatever. But apart from music, it should not really affect the things that is. I still have my computer and my camera and my microphone and everything like that. So supposedly things are pretty much normal. Just the backdrop will be different and less unboxing temporarily. Roughly, that still means I'm going through my planned schedule for the most part of reviews. And regarding interviews, the next few months, that is on my way. Um, Probably not able to do that stuff because, first of all, of course, my camera crew is not with me. They live in Finland, and while I will be away, interviews are not very likely to happen. However, I will be bringing my miniature camera, this kind of a stuff that I've been using, at least for one interview last weekend. I will be bringing this one with me, meaning because this doesn't really do 4K, but then again, we're not filming these videos in 4K. I mean, I have the possibility to do something. I'm going to bring my microphone and this one whenever I go. So, technically speaking, interviews are possible where I'm living, but then again, supposedly there are not too many metal bands around. But however, I planned a couple of festival trips next spring. That is Steelfest 2023 and Inferno 2023. So if things go as planned, I will be traveling to Inferno and doing some interviews, of course, right there, as well as Steelfest. So while the first few months, that is roughly from December to maybe March, might be a little bit slow, might not have a thing or two at all when it comes to interviews. There will be interviews later on as soon as I get them done. And if things go nicely during my absence, that is, well, there will be some interviews. But I really don't know yet. I don't know how everything goes with the relocation thing because I really don't know what kind of bands are available wherever I'm going. And I don't know how things will fold out. There are lots of last minute things to be done, so to speak. Like, just making sure that I have everything packed by the end of the year and the technicalities are running smoothly. But apart from, the basic shit, it shouldn't really change that much the content of the channel. Yeah, that's pretty much of it. And of course, I'm stoked of my band. Now, this is just coincidence really for the stream, but I decided, what the fuck, really? Let's go it. So there's a nightside gig in 1 month. Obviously, it's smaller one, so it's not like people outside Finland are coming. But anyway, nightside and Corgondurers are playing a gig here in my home city in 1 month, 10th of December. Really stoked about that one because we're supposed to play some new songs and record some new songs before I temporarily move away from Finland. And we're living strange, interesting times. So lots of stuff happening, but apart from this unusual stuff, things are pretty basic. Still some interviews in the pipeline. Next week you're gonna have Youth area, and if things go smoothly, that is according to the plans, we are done. Flame interview supposedly after that, and then I have one more interview right on this camera. Haven't really taken it out yet, the one that we did last week and on Nordic Metal Cruise. So only 3 interviews in the pipeline at the moment, which is not as much as I hoped to be by the end of the year. But hey, sometimes things don't go as well as planned. For example, I got to do only 1 interview at Steel Chaos, where I was aiming for 4. So sucks. Anyway, now going to answer some of your questions. So welcome to the stream, and let me just ramble random stuff. Hello, Waltman. Hello, Valer, and other guys. Hello, Maslow. How are you guys? Are you doing great? I expect you to have something else on your Saturday platter, so to say, than just watching a stream. So once again, should you have any questions, just tag me in the comment section. I will read them as soon as I can and then answer your questions. Now, what else I have in my mind? Hello, SK. Nice to have you here. Good that you have your schedule ready. So apart from that relocating thing and these interviews, there are not too many news to be told. Once again, year 2023 kind of looks blurry. And by blurry, I mean, apart from Inferno and Steelfest, I really don't know where and when I'm going in terms of festivals and all that stuff. I have to, however, mention that Turku Saatanalle festival in my home city looks really great this year. If you haven't checked out the lineup, let me just drop names like Satanic Warmaster and Archgoat and some other really good names, Blood Jellies and all that stuff, coming to my home city, playing some gigs. Now, for foreign people, that is non-Finns, it's even more, awesome lineup, because those bands are something that I've seen many, many times. And, well, they're good ones, so rather would like to see them again. And I would even go for another Archgoat or Satanic Warmaster interview. But as it happens, I'm not going to be here around because I'm, out of Finland, overseas during the event. But if you have the possibility to check out Turku Saatanalle lineup, I hopefully will be doing a video of it later on and presenting you the whole deal well, I urge you to check out the lineup. It's good, especially for that kind of a smaller festival with 2 days of black metal and all. So something that you should keep your eyes on. Now, of course, I'm predicting that 2023 will be better than 2022 in terms of festivals and gigs. First of all, now we supposedly dealt with more or less with COVID. I mean, even this year, when we had the possibility to do all these fests and gigs, the first few months were a little bit like, figuring out how things will unfold, what kind of gigs we will have, what kind of traveling restrictions there might be, and all that stuff. So, year 2022 wasn't exactly the perfect year, even though we had these great lineups for a lot of festivals. And also, there were lots of cancellations or postponing some of the events. That's kind of a given still. So, even though half the year was really, really good, there were some problems and restrictions with a lot of festivals. So I'm predicting that year 2023 is now better because now it can be this fully running engine versus 2022, which was like 60% of the whole power. And while the summer was pretty good, I mean, by summer, by the time that summer finally started, pretty much the festivals were running, but there were still quite a bit of problems with some of the festivals because promoters, because of bands, because of overlapping whatever events. So I think the next year will be better in so many ways. But of course, I might be wrong. I hope I'm not wrong, but I think the next year will be better one in terms of events, including individual gigs and festivals alike. Hello, Brian Mons, by the way. Ludwig von Beethoven is asking, what is my favorite band? Um, I kind of hate the question because I don't want to pick one band over others. But when I'm asked, I just say Slayer because Slayer is fucking great. But of course, I have many other bands which have like really great discography, even better than Slayer in so many ways. Like Ball Thrower, I have all the albums, but Slayer, not exactly. Death, I have all the albums, so the answer could be Death as well, or Wasp, even though they're a couple of weaker albums. But Slayer, I guess, would be the number one choice. All right, checking out the questions once again. I'm trying to reply in timely fashion. Lee Turner, thank you for the comment regarding the podcast. I'm happy to hear that you like it and you feel it's like perfect running listening. That is what we're supposed to do, like having a 30 to 60 minutes kind of a podcast every week. And we already recorded this week's podcast. But I noticed based on numbers that releasing a podcast on Friday or Saturday is not exactly the optimal timing when it comes to releasing a podcast. So I decided to postpone it until Sunday. I hope to put it out tomorrow. It's Father's Day, by the way, in Finland back then, but shouldn't affect a thing on my behalf. I just need to just do the final editing, and it's supposed to do just fine. And yeah, it's supposed to be out on Sunday. Now, there will be a couple of weeks when my co host is missing from the podcast show because he's touring with Archcode. So there might be something like 3 weeks when I'm just doing it alone, unless some guest pops up to do this podcast with me. But I try to keep it running in weekly fashion, even when I'm moving. But I don't know. There might be weeks that have to be taken off because of various things. But thank you for the feedback. All right, SK, nice that you are walking and checking out the stream. Yes, the weekend has been nice. Today was actually one of those non-rainy days. I got to do a little bit of yard working. Can you imagine how boring it can be? I really had my Vari Vikernes moment. I mean, if you ever watched his YouTube channel, Thulen Perspective, where he was just doing kind of a daily errands when, sharing his thoughts. I felt like that today when I was actually just putting those dead leaves together, just like, okay, I'm like this old fucking grandpa, but I didn't have, of course, the stream rolling on. I didn't even have my music playing, but I felt like doing that kind of a yard work. I could have easily just had the camera right there, like, okay, let's talk some black metal. Why am I gathering the dead leaves here and putting on the fucking, whatever. But then again, would have probably been a kind of a crappy content. Let's be honest about it. But yep, rather than that, good weekend. I had like 3 proper meals today: pizza and Chinese food and fish and chips. Doing some deadlifts, now doing some beers, packing some CDs, and stoked to start God of War Ragnarok, the new PlayStation game after this stream. So I think I'm having a pretty good weekend. Oh, Waldman having Dane Perry. All right, Christian Nile, some good bands. Never seen Christian live though. Nile is really good band, both live and on albums. So loving it, so to say. Reading your comments is why, in case you're wondering why my pair of eyes are wandering around. Yeah, Bathory is definitely one of the best bands all time. I wouldn't say Burzum because actually roughly 2/3 of Burzum albums are not worth owning to me. However, the best albums are among the best black metal of all times. Brian Mons is asking, have I played Kingdom Come Deliverance? No, I haven't. I have read about it and it's an interesting game, but I haven't played it. So many good games in my backlog. And currently, for example, playing Deathloop, which has been on pause for a couple of weeks. I had this annoying flu, which wasn't really that bad, but it made me tired and feeling like I have a Where the Slime Live live concert going on in my lung and throat area. So I had a sore throat and, just coughing a lot. Didn't have fever maybe more than one day, but last 3 weeks, for example, my workouts have been really crappy because I've been just doing light weights, really light weights, because I don't want to take the risk that I would get, even more ill. So last couple of weeks, I haven't played anything. And then there was Steel Chaos, of course, when I didn't have time to play. So last 3 weeks, give or take, workouts, just lightweight. I can't say it sucks because, it kind of does good for your body to just take it light. But in terms of like video games, no, I've been watching videos, movies and TV shows like Andor, the Star Wars thing, really good. I've been enjoying House of the Dragon, still 2 episodes left. I watched Dahmer, which was pretty good. And by the way, I don't know if you know that I mentioned, but I recently resurrected my other channel, Rauta Beyond, where I am just streaming the gaming nowadays. I moved from Twitch to YouTube again. And also doing my movie and TV show reviews on that channel. So Rauta Beyond, if you want to check out my non-metal content, it's right there. I don't want to disrupt Rauta channel by my non-metal content, except for the streams where we just talk whatever. So putting all those reviews and gaming streams and hopefully in the future workout videos as well on Rauta Beyond. But yeah, been watching more movies and TV shows lately, and of course NFL. It's American football season, so I've been doing that lately. So yeah, I haven't been playing that much, but I've been entertaining myself, so to speak. Waldman, yeah, I've seen Nyla, I think 3 times in total live. Always good. The latest time was like I think 2017, if I remember correctly. And Christian, never, unfortunately. But Nile is good. And thank you, old man, regarding Father's Day. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get to meet Carl Sanders when I was doing my Nile interview back in the days. This was before Rauta, but it's still English video interview. I can link it to you if you want to. So, unfortunately, that was possible. But I hope that next time it will be Carl himself. Oh yeah, Adam Leaves. You haven't been on the streams lately, or seeing other videos. Yeah. This looks so different now that the paneling is all gray. That means, well, the ceiling is kind of a white. I don't know if you can see it. But the paneling, I mean, everything here is gray, including the cupboards behind me, as well as the door. The door behind me, which leads to the warming system area and home gym, and of course, yeah, the paneling. So it's quite different. Yeah, this got just totally renovated during the summer. So yeah, it's supposed to look a little bit different. Most stuff are a little more or less in their places, like those city towers. These are a little bit different and than they used to be, but these two roughly the same, and as well as the stereo setup and TV, which is right there. But the biggest difference is that I have new windows, which you can see, and doesn't matter. It's not like they make much of a difference in terms of being seen. They are just better in terms of like keeping warm inside. And yeah, the paneling and you know new pipes, which you probably cannot see. Well, yeah, can. I think these pipes were not visible the last time. I mean, before the renovation. But that's about the details. I don't know if it's interesting. Uh, Ed was asking if I listened to any acid bath or goat horror. I've reviewed at least goat horror in the past. Quite okay. I think I haven't listened to acid bath, but yeah, I know the name, but band by name. Metal Gear Scales, Brutal Slam Death. Let me see. I think I got it. I'm pretty sure I got it, but somehow my no Brutal Slam Death. Yes, it arrived um, in September, so it's right here in position 126. So not coming exactly in following weeks. Patience, please. There are plenty of CDs before that, but yes, I got them. Two of them, I think. Gerald Lamp, I did listen the latest Dark Throne about 4 times. Actually, we discussed it in our podcast. And the podcast is supposed to go out tomorrow. So, yeah, it's not a good album. It's not as bad as Eternal Hails, but it's not exactly a good album. But we discussed, me and Tuukka, my co-host for podcast, we discussed the Dark Throne 1, and the next Rauta podcast episode will have a review of Dark Throne's latest album. What else? Iron Pond, I have already reviewed and watched All Quiet on the Western Front. My review of that movie is on Rauta Beyond channel. It's a really, really good war movie. HS Merciless is asking me about the Cyberpunk anime series. Everybody has been saying it's pretty good, and I think I will watch it when I have played Cyberpunk 2077. The thing here is, when I'm relocating around New Year's Eve, I will be bringing my Xbox with me, and I think I will bring 2 games with me, and they are Mass Effect Trilogy, because I finally got it a few months back and didn't have any hurry with it, and Cyberpunk. I think I will start Cyberpunk as the first game when I'm moving, because I'm not taking the PlayStation with me. That stays home. I had to choose which one I take. I'm not gonna bring both. But yeah, Cyberpunk will be watched after I have played it. And thank you for the donation, sir. Metal Gear Scale Studies. Thank you so much. This will help the crew do our job. Thank you. Waldman, nice to know that your band finally has a new drummer and that he's doing good. I hope you will be making some shows and recording music. That is good. John Raddox is asking, have I ever played the game Quake? I have played all the Quakes from 1 to 4. I actually played Quake rather fresh when it came out in what it was, 1997 or so. That was when I was working at this, video game importing company, and I had a good access and a lot of new games, including Quake. So yeah, I played Quake back in the days and I liked it. Quake 2, maybe even better, though the feeling was quite different. But Quake 4, for example, not that. Oh yeah, SK was asking me to link the Moon Moon TV video interview with my Nile and Melekesh interviews. Now, mind you, these are before Rauta. So while the concept is kind of I mean, you know it how it's done, it's still a little bit different. Sorry, misclicking here. So Nile and Melekesh interviews right here. All right. Lee Turner is asking, what are my favorite other YouTube channels, like the ones that I watch? I'm a very, very random viewer of YouTube content. I mostly, that is, if I really watch something, not just some music on the background, like, looking for some song which might not be on Spotify or whatever, or if I'm looking for a particular music video, even. If I have a favorite channel of sorts, well, I guess it would be Jeff Nippard's channel in workout. And lately I found this, what the fuck it was. I have to check out the name because I really can't uh, remember it. Sorry, you have to hear my typing sound. I will mention you the channel Ryan Humiston. That is actually one of my new favorite channels which I have subscribed to. I mean, he's quite a big 1.5 million subscribers. He has good humor and good workout videos. And that is Jeff Nippard. Well, I'm just actually looking at my list here, which is not that big, because most of the channels I have are not exactly either active or they're just right there to just for as reminder me. For example, there's a couple of inactive channels. So I guess that's it. Gonilog is definitely interesting if you're looking for a good metal channel, and sometimes I watch hipster black metal. But I guess yeah, Ryan Hamiston and Jeff Nippard are the ones I would say are my favorite ones. But I rarely watch YouTube like on a say weekly basis, all that stuff. I just watch it randomly. Hello, Pablo, Poland. How are you doing? Beer and Horna. That sounds good. Uh, Cram. Hello, Cram. How nice to have you here, by the way. Plans to do episode of ranking Graveland albums. Now, I've been pondering a lot about doing ranking. That is, worst to best videos with bands that are active, and I've decided to postpone that. First of all, those kind of videos go old rather quickly. For example, when I did Dark Throne Worst to Best about some 3 years ago, it became kind of obsolete rather quickly, because after that, I think they have released like 3 albums already. So at least two, that is. But I think 3 albums came out after that. So when I'm reviewing or ranking the bands that are active, they might get old, like missing out some of the newer ones. So currently, I mean, after the Dark Throne thing, I kind of decided I would rather focus on bands that are not active anymore, not recording any new albums. For example, bands like Burzum, bands like Bathory, Ergehal, Typo Negative, Sentenced, and all that stuff. And that makes it so much interesting, in my opinion, because then there are no new albums coming out. Same goes for Entombed or Entombed AD, which I did. And I was actually planning to do a Dismember one, but all the Dismember ones were gone from streaming services, which made it impossible for me to listen to them while, driving around or at the gym. And then later on, it became clear that Dismember was back. So not exactly gone or anymore. And now the albums are back on Spotify and whatever, well, streaming services in general. And then again, now it doesn't really make sense to do this worst best kind of a video because now the band is back and they actually might do, new albums. Kind of loses the point, right? So currently I'm focusing doing those ranking videos of bands that are inactive or more likely just disbanded. If they still come back later on, well, welcome. Why not? But that's why I decided to, for example, postpone my Judas Priest ranking video because the band is still active. And while it would be fantastic to go through the whole discography of Graveland, I mean, I just love the band, especially the early albums. It wouldn't make sense because Graveland is so active. And by the time I'm done with the video, there might be already one album out and the next soon. And then the video kind of would have to be done again later on. I mean, I did And the Oceans Worst to Best video when they were disbanded. Only that, like 1 year later, the band was back. So when I had my ranking done of 4 albums, 2 years later, And the Ocean's like, hey, we have a new album out. And it's kind of like making my video in terms of ranking kind of obsolete. I hope this makes sense. And if not, well, that's it. All right. But yeah, Graveland ranking video. One day, I hope. One day. And yeah, cheers, Metal Getter Scales. Sorry, I'm reading a backlog in case you wonder why I'm answering a little bit late. Hello, Conrad. New Orleans. Cool. Everything all right there. New Orleans is a place that I wish to visit someday. And yeah, old man, I definitely say watch that All Quiet on the First Western Front 2022 edition. Some have said it has very, very little to do with the book. I haven't read it, so I can't really compare. But at least the movie is great, nonetheless. And yes, Merciless. I heard that Cyberpunk was quite a mess on release. I bought it very fresh when it came out, so it has been on my table for like almost 2 years now. And then some newer games came in, and I started playing them. So I was like, okay, let them patch the game, let them squash the bugs, and I will be playing that later on. So no harm done on my perspective. And the light on the background is distracting. Yeah, I get it. I'll shut it. Now it's a little bit of grainy image. I will add some light here locally. Okay, wrong one. Let me just add this light here so it doesn't look that grainy. I hope this is not distracting anymore. If you think this is too... Okay, now this is better. Oh, no, come on. That changes the type of lightning. Maybe this light one is good enough. Very cold. Okay, I hope this is better now. Scorn, the game. I might like it. Yeah, I know it's a horror game, and maybe at some point I will. But definitely, the God of War is on my top list when it comes to new games. All right, once again, going to back scroll. Oh, thank you, Conrad Cantor, so much for your donation. Thank you. This is helping once again the team. So very much delighted for your donation. Now, people who are donating money here, you should know that this money donated to YouTube goes to this YouTube pool, the same where I get this ad money. It's not much, but it comes to me, and then I divide it to my editor, my video guy, and the photographer. So it's all helping the team, so to say. So when I'm saying thank you, I mean on behalf of the whole team, and by team I mean the people who make those interviews possible. Why I'm totally dedicating myself. I mean, I don't really need other people to do these reviews or streams. When it comes to the band interviews, those other people are much needed. and this money will definitely help doing the interviews. So thank you on behalf of Rauta team, so to say. All right, Waldman, keep me posted about your band progress and steps. What else? Yeah, thank you, Waldman. Yeah, I really like that Ashmedi of Melakesh interview when we did that. And he had a good humor, nice chap, and all that stuff. Oh yeah, Merciless is asking, do I still work on new music? Now, this is one of my favorite topics, which I'm totally happy to talk about. Like I said here, I am to advertise Nightside, my own band as well. Now, the thing here is, when we did our comeback gig in early this year, early March, we decided we're not just gonna play some old songs and then fuck off. We are making new music. And during the late summer, we had to replace our other guitarist. He didn't have the time or motivation, whatever. I continued with the band, and we had to get a new guitar player. And I think now we had the most solid lineup for a long time. Of course, we were away for a long time, but I mean, maybe possibly the best lineup so far. The thing here is, our guitar player, our bassist, our drummer, they're all making new songs. I have some riffs in my head, but I haven't really been putting them forward, so to say. And also the other guitarist, the lead one, he has also some nice ideas. So we already have quite a few songs more or less ready, and we're gonna perform three new songs on the next set. And I hope this is something that we can do, play more shows and also showcase some new songs. Of course, the focus will be at first with the old songs because that's basically what everybody's looking for. I know it, and I really can't just decide to go with the new songs when people are expecting the stuff from the late 90s. But yes, Nightside is very active and we're doing new songs. And I hope that next year we could actually enter a studio to record a full album. But that is just me guessing. I hope if things go as planned, we will record a demo before I'm, relocating for a few months. So yes, Nightside is active. We're doing music, and Annihilators then again is on a hiatus, not because of me, but my band member partner, who was actually the Nightside guitarist, who didn't have the time for it. So Annihilators is more on hiatus. Third album is mostly done, but when it will be out, I have no idea. But yeah, lots of things happening, and Nightside is very active. We're rehearsing on a weekly basis, rehearsing both new and old songs for the gig, obviously, new songs both for the gig and studio. That's it. But if you want to ask more about Nightside, I'll try to answer to my best of my qualities. And of course, Nightside Facebook pages, they're available. All right, Edu, I will check out Acid Bath later on Spotify when I have the chance. Just quite busy with listening projects. Hello, Serbia. How are you doing? I gotta say, I missed the MQA show in the end because I was spending time with the Sisyphean guys, and they were great. We had some good chat, and there watched their show, more or less, and a couple of songs of Ulcerate, but really didn't work for me. So yeah, missed MQA, but it's okay. I've seen them a few times. Yes, Voldemort. I heard some rumors about Marduk doing a new album, but no idea about it. More than just a rumor. So we'll see about it. Oh, Conrad, on bar in French Quarter, that area is exactly one of the reasons why I would like to go to the New Orleans. The whole French Quarter area, and that what I guess is called kind of Old Town. That is definitely one of the reasons why I would definitely want to go there. I've seen only photos or videos or movies or whatever, games even about New Orleans. So I definitely find that place very, very fascinating. I've been traveling through United States for a few times. and I've loved it. So New Orleans is definitely high on my map. So if I'm coming there, I've tried to reach you. But when, I don't know. Pretty much after COVID came, all the plans flew out of window, so to speak. But yeah, that would be great to come there finally. And if you're coming to Steelfest, excellent. Just let me know, and I'll try to give you a little bit of information regarding Steelfest. By the way, tomorrow Steelfest is announcing some of the bands. I already know some of the new announcements, but under embargo, I cannot really reveal anything. But it looks great. In my opinion, Steelfest 2023 looks very, very interesting. I'm already planning some interviews in my head, like, wow, these are some good bands, some new and old ones. I mean, some bands that I've seen, but I want to see again. Some bands I haven't seen and definitely are looking forward to see. And if things go as planned, next week I should have the Steelfest 2023 video out, discussing some of the bands playing there. And then early next year, I guess, I should be making another Steelfest video where we'll be giving tips to consider if you're coming to the festival. Like if you're coming to Finland, what do you need to know? If you're coming to Steelfest, what do you need to know? Like, accommodation, pricing, schedules, things like that. Very basic questions. Like I have done similar ones in the previous year. Sometimes things really don't change that much. So it's not like all the information is old now from the previous years. You can pretty much use it already. But still, I think it's kind of a good to keep information updated. So, yeah, I'll try to make that new Steelfest 2023 video out next week. Have a good one, Conrad. He probably already went away before I got to answer him. Thank you, Oldman, regarding words about me and Asmedi. Merciless, I hope you will find new Nightside worth listening to. I think it's very true to the original roots, even if now composed some of the new guys. Actually, one of those new three songs is as old as from 1998. So it's not like we're just copying the style of 90s. Some of the ideas or songs are actually old from the 90s. So yeah, personally, I'm stoked, and you should know that I'm quite critical when it comes to music. It's not like I just let things slide easily. Like, I mean, if there are bad tracks or mediocre ones, I don't just accept them. So we're tossing ideas back and forth. Of course, what if I like something? It's not that it doesn't mean that you will like it. That's vice versa. But personally, I feel like these new songs they are solid. They're good ones. I can totally just enjoy them. And that means a lot to me. They are the kind of tracks which I can relate to. And I'm happy to write lyrics for them. I mean, I've already done more than 3 songs with the lyrics, but still honing a little bit. But personally, I'm really, really ready to kick some ass on stage and play them. So there's that. Thank you, Benji. I hope you will like the songs as well. Hello, Captain. You asked if Obituary come to Turku. I kind of doubt that they will come here, but of course, I hope. I hope they would come here. It would be nice to see them live, and also, we get to interview these guys. Merciless is having a list of good questions. Do I think that talking to so many musicians influences or inspires your own music in some way, like being more motivated? No, it doesn't really affect being motivated. My motivation comes from inside, really. It doesn't really it's not really affected by, like, okay, you're doing active, we're gonna go active. Nah, it doesn't really affect me like that. For me, it's more about picking their brain, like getting to know what makes them move, what makes them tick, what makes them write those lyrics, writing songs, why they are doing what they are doing, do they ever question themselves and all that stuff. But personal motivation, no, I don't really see it coming from them. Much like my workout, I don't need some other guys like, hey, those guys are really strong, or that guy is so jacked. I need to be there as well. It's for me, it's not so much a competition or not having motivation on my own. For me, it's like I'm my own engine. And of course, it kind of helps if there is some little bit competition, really. But since music is not exactly competition, it's not like, hey, we're like against those guys. Like, if they're not doing good music, why should we? So it's different. But when it comes to workout, it's a very different mindset because it's kind of all about competition in a way. But no, as weird as it may sound, I don't feel motivated by other artists, like whatever they're doing, but it might be affecting me in the sense like I'm picking up ideas which don't work, in my opinion, when I see a band on stage, like, okay, that looks like crap, or like, wow, holy fuck, that looks so good. So those kind of ideas, be it about like sounding good or looking good, or like, hey, that's something innovative, those kind of things might come into my mind. But then again, it doesn't really have to be a musician uh, giving me that kind of inspiration. I could just, talk to a guy at a festival or a fucking bar and like, okay, this guy is intelligent. This is something that I want to be inspired by. It could be a book of philosophy, or like today, actually, I was reading this biography by one of the most famous actors and musicians in Finland. He's now dead, by the way. Anyway, I'm just some 80 pages in to that story. It's about 700 pages, mind you, and it's about his childhood and teenager years. And I'm already like figuring out, like, man, this guy at the ripe age of 13 or whatever, he's already getting fucking shit done. Whereas there's a bunch of guys in their 30s or 40s who never got anything done. So some people are just wired, like hardwired, more properly. They figure out like, hey, I'm gonna be an actor, I'm gonna be a musician, I'm gonna be a fucking poet, I'm gonna be a fucking general when they're like teenagers. And they are going to pursue their careers or whatever. They're like relentless when they're aiming for something. And I feel those people are inspiring. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, for example. By the time he was in his 20s, he was already, fucking conquering the world, with a bunch of people in their 40s thinking like, maybe one day I should be up to something. I mean, not all can be leaders, but a lot of us, most of us, could really push ourselves even further, even more, take more, give more, do more. That's when I gotta keep myself busy bee. Not just, day job or family stuff, but also, band, Rauta, and, well, other activities like reviewing albums and all that stuff. So I need to stay busy. I need to keep pushing. And yet at the same time, I feel I'm not doing jack shit. It's not like I'm a rich man or I'm a successful guy or I'm a big musician. Fuck it. I'm a small time nobody underground dude. I'm having this small channel of whatever metal related content. I'm having these small bands or whatever, but they're meaningless in the end. I mean, nobody gives a jack shit about them. But for me, it gives the kind of a feeling of doing something, pushing things forward rather than just being forever on my Netflix and chill thing. So working out, doing Rauta content, and doing my bands, that gives me energy more than they take, in a way, if that makes sense. I don't know if it does, but for me, it's all about like when I'm listening to bands, when I'm reviewing them, it gives me something that I can give back to music. So when I'm listening, even the bad ones, if I get to review them and some people will find new music, well, my job is done. Same goes for the music. I keep getting so much from music. So if I can give back with my music, if somebody finds that fascinating or interesting or good, I'm like, okay, this is good. This is worth putting my time into. And if nobody gives a fucking shit about my music, it's okay. I mean, it's not I am doing them to please others. I hope that the music will be liked. It's not like I'm lying, like, okay, I'm making this music only for myself. That bullshit. I'm not buying that. But I'm saying it's not like my life depends on if people like it. It's good if they do, but if they don't, well, too bad. I'm just gonna keep making music anyway. Same goes for Rauta. I mean, if some people just say that, okay, this bald Finnish guy doesn't know anything about metal music, he should fuck off and die. I'm like, okay, whatever, bro. I'm still gonna fucking do it. So the thing here is, I have to keep in motion. I have to keep doing these things, and I don't need an external motivation to do that. Maybe I'm a kind of a crazy person in terms of that. I really don't know. I'm not exactly in position to judge myself, But long answer for a simple question. Sorry. Okay. Once again, reading comments. Um, yeah, new Vermilly album, in my opinion, was a little bit of a disappointing after the first one. I mean, it sounds quite good, but not that good. She has a beautiful voice, but the album is a little bit, in my opinion, too much all over. So Vermilia's second album isn't as good as the first one. All I'm saying. Yeah, Fronschwein, Victoria. I think they were both rather good ones. Benji is asking me if I have any South Asian metal recommendations. Nothing, anything of recent. I mean, I remember Imperi, and they were good, all that stuff. I remember Abhorror and bands like that. They were not that good, in my opinion. But I don't remember getting anything recently, apart from India. But not too many good bands come from there, in my opinion. That is what I've heard. So can't say that I have any recent Southeast Asian recommendations. SK, I didn't really love Victoria. I think it's good, solid 8 out of 10, but it's not like it was 9 out of 10 or anything like that. So it was more like a solid, basic Marduk album rather than being great, if that makes sense. Hello, Phil Scum. What I'm talking about? Isn't it obvious what I'm talking about? Being inspired by people or not, or bands. All right. Kror Noctis is asking my favorite New Zealand bands. I don't know if I have any favorites from New Zealand. Then again, I don't really know too many New Zealand bands, so can't really answer that question. Merciless, yeah, thank you for your comment. I mean, it's a good question what you did. The thing is, indeed, I have met a lot of inspiring people, um, but they don't really, I mean, inspire me in that sense, making me music and all that stuff. So it's more like it's really cool to meet those people, not in the sense of just meeting them, but because of the possibility of doing interviews. I mean, for me, it gives a lot that when I do these interviews, it's not like I just get to keep those conversations to myself. I mean, private. Of course, for me, it's a lot about sharing them with you guys. I mean, I wouldn't do those interviews if it was only me hearing the talks. Of course, good talks are valuable. When you have some good talk with just anybody, it doesn't have to be a musician. They could be really enjoyable over a beer or whatever. But for me, sharing is caring in that sense. That might sound really odd thing to say about in black metal, but for me, it's all about, like, if I am getting the possibility to pick the brain of this artist, of course I fucking want to share it, because, like I said, I've been getting so much from metal through the decades. Of course, I want to just, keep spreading the disease, if you get my anthrax anecdote. But in terms of being inspired, in terms of making music, no, not really. It's kind of a different thing. Yeah, SK, I gotta agree. The latest Funeral Mist album was disappointment. In my opinion, it's probably the worst Funeral Mist one so far. Um, and yeah, Merciless, thanks for about the words about good mindset. And thank you, Waldman. I'm glad if it makes sense. Brian Mons, you should definitely have a pizza. Pizza sounds so much more Saturday than steak. Not that steaks suck. Steaks are good. What else? Yeah, Eric OJ is having a good question. Is it not more of a sign of passion if one makes music simply because they want to make music instead of wanting becoming famous? Well, I don't think these exclude one another. Let me put it this way: there are lots of musicians who are very, very motivated because they want to just be kind of a famous, not because as famous is a good thing, but because they want to impress other people. Like what I was reading this book I mentioned earlier about Vesa-Matti Loiri, a Finnish actor, comedian, and musician. When he was a kid, he wrote that, or he said in this book that he wanted to impress ladies. I mean, he was kid, not even in a sexual age, so to say, but he wanted to impress these ladies. He wanted to make an impact, make waves in a way. And while this is not exactly something that is related to metal, we must really understand that whatever it makes us tick, whatever makes us going, is still very important. So if, for example, wanting to impress women made him do whatever he did, I think that's as good of a start as just I want to write some songs for myself. So going for success might sound like a kind of a goofy or very shallow way to do it, but I mean, does it really matter if the songs you make are good and if you make it coming straight from your heart? So I don't know really. I mean, it kind of sounds shallow, but then again, if that what makes you tick is needed, fucking do it. So can't really say if it's kind of a wrong kind of a passion if you want to make it for that reason. I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of a vague in my opinion. And very much here, there's a lot of war black death metal bands from India, and unfortunately, not that they are too great. Yeah, I know Tetragrammaside, but there are also other bands. Some are quite noisy, like Brahmastrika. Uh, Cataclysm is asking, what is my top five favorite black metal EP of all time? To be honest, I don't think there are too many good EPs in black metal. Most of my favorite stuff are always albums. Um, there's this one EP, Terror Abraxas from Destroyer 666, which is definitely one of my favorite ones. But most ones would be my favorite. I really don't know, to be honest. I can't really get in my head, those great EPs. Well, Wolfslayer Abyss by Mayhem was actually a really good one. And then there are probably ones that I'm just, you know, confusing with, albums, but really can't remember too many. And yeah, Cherryland, that is a good point. Sometimes you can be inspired by not realize exactly. Thank you, Pablo, for your donation, and glad you liked the Kalman Gandea interview. Thank you so much for your donation. Mm, yeah, Scythian Gold has a good idea. How about an interview with Arska from Morningstar, Perkele, Mtor, etc.? I think that would be a really nice interview to do because Arska is a training dude and he has, I think, a good attitude in metal. So it would be definitely interesting to do that. Hello, Pizza Monster. Welcome to from Canada. Nice that you have the little in Finnish. And about the new Dark Throne one, yeah, the cover is bad and the album is not much better, but I didn't really like it too much. Hello, Dragonian. All good here. Thank you so much. I hope you're having a good day as well. Oh, no, another interesting question. Oh, I'm actually going to check out the um back scroll. Just quickly reading through. Talk and Necro EP. I don't think Talk ever did that great of an EP. Yes, Wolf Lair's Abyss is good. And Terror Upper Access might be the number one if I'm thinking about EPs. Hello, Robosybot. Everything good here? Having one of my favorite IPAs here and answering your questions. But Blizzwar had a couple of good ones. Potters, what is my opinion about gatekeepers in metal? This is one of my favorite topics because I got to discuss this quite a lot. I don't know why people want to ask me so often about it, but it seems that people do. Like here he's mentioning, do I have to be an expert in black metal to wear a Dark Throne shirt, for example, or death metal if you wear a both or a shirt? No. I like to be an open-minded guy in so many ways. And while I think reviewers are kind of a gatekeepers, not maybe, mind you, not maybe wanting to be gatekeepers, but kind of bound to be gatekeepers because, certain kind of authority, and also because some people are looking for advice. But personally, I think the word gatekeeping should and could be divided into two categories. There is positive gatekeeping, which is then again review work or journalism in general, or just those authorities like Fenris. I guess is in that kind of a inspiring person to a lot of people. I mean, like giving ideas, what is good, what is bad, what kind of bands should be checked out, and what should be just ignored. But positive gatekeeping, with that I mean the kind of people giving you pointers. Hey, you might have missed that band because they're not that good. Sorry, not that big maybe, or you could have missed this band because they're now not active anymore, and things like that. So positive gatekeeping is all about uh, separating the good stuff from the bad ones. There used to say, separate the, you know, how to say, seed from the chaff, I guess. Anyway, just separating the really good ones. The reason why I do reviews is not about, spitting on the bad ones. It's more about giving more room, more name for space, promoting the good ones. That's my point here. But then there is also negative gatekeeping. And that can be this kind of a like, are you worthy? Like, dude, do you even own these original blasphemy EPs? If you don't have the right to just have the shirt on, do you? No, I think that kind of a gatekeeping is ridiculous. And a lot of you people, you probably know the meme, like when a guy approaches a girl and okay, you're wearing this Slayer shirt. Name your three favorite Slayer tracks. I think that's just fucking stupid. Why so? Because it's 0% constructive. There is no fucking point to just go, banging on somebody's chest at like, hey, mister, you're having that shirt. So can you quote some of the lyrics, right? You know what I'm talking about. So my point here is negative gatekeeping is fucking useless, and people should actually, stand up to these kind of people. Like, go fuck off with your fingers and asking your silly questions. Just because I don't, for example, remember some song name on an album nowadays, even less than when I was young, and better with my memory and all. I mean, I still couldn't necessarily remember all the songs, even less in the age of Spotify and doing reviews. I actually remember this one conversation when I was about 18. Paradise Lost's Icon was just, fresh from the oven. I had kept it spinning many, many times. I mean, many times. And I could like literally, you know, list the good songs based on the track, like hey, tracks number 1, 3, and 4 are like really good ones. Then there is like song number 5, which is one of the best ones. Then you probably are going to skip like 6 and 7, but 8 is once again really good. And track number 10 and 11, they're great. And if people would be like, okay, so what are those songs called? And I'll be like, fuck, I don't know. I was staring at my CD player, and he would say like, hey, this number 2, this is really really good. Only a lot later you will read the lyrics and just kind of figure out. Okay, so these lyrics in my head, which I'm staring right here, like a piece of paper, like a CD booklet, and like now I'm reading lyrics for number 2, and this song is called okay, this and that. Like for example, nowadays I remember it's like Ember's Fire is the first track on Icon album, or number 5 is Widow. Will I remember that for most albums I've gotten throughout the years? Fucking no. Like if some people would be asking, like, Cherry, name your favorite Graveland albums if you like Graveland so much, I would have no fucking clue. But I can still name for some of my favorite Graveland albums, like, the Celtic Winter, or In the Glare of Burning Churches, or Thousand Swords, or, well, even Following the Voice of Blood. The point here is, if you would ask me about certain lyrics of those albums or song titles, I would be like, I don't fucking remember. I have no idea. I've been listening to those albums many, 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 many times. I still might not have a clue what the album names are. I'm sorry, song names are. I I'm a lot of these kind of album listeners. I spin an album and I'm like, yeah, these are the good songs, but I wouldn't remember the names, especially if they're like non-English, non-Finnish names. Why? Because they don't really stick to my head. Most Burzum tracks I wouldn't fucking remember by name. I mean, of course, some of my favorite ones, like Jesus Todd or Tom Head or things like that. But for example, if you were to test me, like, okay, Jerry, what's the name of that Philosophem track with a lot of ambience, that one that runs some 30 minutes or so? I can't remember, except it's some silly German name. So once again, that kind of a negative gatekeeping and making those kind of a weird test questions, it's silly. It's a waste of fucking time. Sometimes I cannot even remember my own band's lyrics, and I have to kind of keep repeating them when I'm preparing for the gig. And then I can just remember something as silly as what kind of damage second edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons two-handed sword did back in the 1988 1d10. What the fuck? I cannot, decide to forget that information and find some other more relevant information in my head, like some of the lyrics. Now, this is a weird thing. When I was reading lyrics, say in the age of 18, I would remember this so much better than when I was in my 30s, not to mention 40s. So it's more like mind doing the trick. So now that you have this gatekeeping attitude combined into that, it becomes so fucking silly. I get kind of distracted by the original idea. But once again, I want to say there are good ways to do gatekeeping, and then there are bad ways. And they are two very different kind of stuff. It's almost like the same thing with black metal elitism. I mean, it's sometimes it's very good to say, if you can't stand the heat, stay the fuck out of the kitchen. My point here is saying there are a lot of people who don't really understand black metal, and yet they come to criticize black metal like, hey, why these guys are so edgy, or why they're making these statements, because it's fucking black metal. I mean, it's more extreme metal than people give it credit for. And that includes a lot of what we nowadays people would say toxic topics, dangerous topics, hateful arrogance, certain kind of elitist mindset. That is also a music about lyrics related to death, darkness, suicide, violence, war, and fucking human destruction, misanthropy, and all that stuff. So people, when they're like, why are these guys so fucking edgy? Well, look at the fucking lyrics. Look at the fucking interviews by these guys. I mean, they might come kind of normal guys, but they also might have kind of a piled up hatred inside of them. Even I'm usually a nice fucking guy, and I'd like to treat people nice ways and all that stuff. But don't fucking start pushing my buttons, or you are just unleashing a fucking beast inside, sleeping. It's the sleeping dragon. We want to keep sleeping. That doesn't mean I have a that I don't have this kind of a loathing for a lot of kind of people. I certainly do have kind of a hatred inside myself, which is ready to be given out. But I don't want to do that. I want to focus on the really good stuff. So when people are saying silly things like, hey, this and that kind of music, blah, 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 and I'm like, fuck off and fucking die. Go in a fucking fire and burn in fucking hell. Get your fucking head destroyed. Get run over by a fucking car. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not that hateful of a person. But I hate when people don't even fucking try to understand. So it's a difference between, once again, being like, okay, I don't understand this music style. It's okay if I don't understand it. These people might not be my liking. That's a healthy way to approach. But when you just outright start judging people you don't know, you don't understand, and just because you don't understand, you start just judging them like, hey, I don't know those people, but I do know better. Those people should be fucking like, no, I don't advocate violence, but you get the idea. Those people need a fucking lesson in life, and that's where you need to kind of a gatekeeping. Okay, long rant. I'm gonna keep reading back scroll. I hope you understand my point anyway. Okay, long rant. And yes, Robosaibo, this is Lagunitas EPUM, one of my favorite ones actually. Kind of a mainstream nowadays. I don't complain, it's a good one. And hello, Hengestaur. Now, you have there. How are you doing, people in Norway? Alex Necroposer having one of the weird questions. One of the best. Where he hits, I don't have an idea. Yes, Caroline, definitely. Would you put it in so much more easy way to people to understand? Gatekeeping could maintain quality control in some way. Definitely. Um, Yeah, SK, Destroyer 666 is great live band, by the way. I've seen them a couple of times as well. All right. Yes, Merciless, that is a really good story when you mentioned that somebody's listening to weirdest underground black metal and still being a kind of a lawyer or whatever, having high profile things and having a tie and nice suit and all that stuff. Yes, you really can combine those things. One could say it's a wolf in sheep clothing in a way. Hello, Lucas. Yes, you have missed the first hour of stream, but doesn't matter, and you can always watch it afterwards if you want to hear my early comments. But if not, it doesn't really matter. Brian Mons, good for the pizza and good for you. Yes, Merciless, fuck the scene politics. Personally, I must say, Bring Me the Horizon was horrible live, and I didn't like the music, but I get your point, and I totally agree with that. What else? Yes, Brandmon, Behexen and Baptism both are actually good bands coming from Finland. Not maybe the best or most catchy, but they definitely have their things going on. Yes, Pablo Jordanes Land is a great EP. Yes, definitely. Actually, one of my early favorite enslaved ones. What else? Ottoman is asking me what I think about Yngwie Malmsteen. I think he's a big snob. Never gave him his music much of a chance. Oh, by the way, I missed someone's comment about do I listen to power metal? I forgot to answer that. Not really, but if there is a good power metal, I give it a fucking chance. I actually remember reviewing it a few years back, 2 or 3 years ago. One power metal album, which was actually a good one, but fucking can't remember the name anymore. But it was kind of on the verge of being heavy metal, power metal. But yeah, I don't dislike power metal. It's just usually too cheesy and too happy for me anyway. So yeah, Angus out. I totally agree. Black metal is pure freedom. I think that's what Satan is all about: being free, being rebellious, and do what the fuck you want. If somebody doesn't agree with you, fine. They don't have to. Benji, I totally agree. Humming to riffs is something that I do constantly. Sometimes I might hum to a riff I haven't been listening to for years, and then I'm just like figuring out what the fuck is this song, and then later on becomes evident, and everything's like boom, bloom also. But yeah, listening to and remembering riffs is so much easier than certain lyrics. And yeah, Brian Mons, lyrics can be, in my opinion, an important layer to music. But let me put it this way: if music was sex, lyrics were like the intelligence. You don't really have to have intelligence to have good sex. But if you can like have a good conversation in an intellectual manner after the sex, I mean, it kind of adds a layer to the whole experience. It makes it better. But then again, it's not really needed to have good sex. Does this metaphor sound reasonable to you? Thank you, old one, for your words. Glad you agree with me. Yeah, Hopper, I totally get what your point about the gatekeeping thing. Yeah, it's actually makes sense. Yeah, SK, I totally understand about asking like favorite Bathory album, for instance. I mean, it's kind of a conversation opener, but that is not exactly the kind of a gatekeeping snobbery I was talking about. It's a different thing. Like, hey, you have a nice Impiety shirt, so do you like Skull fucking Armageddon? It's not about like testing. Like, hey, can you mention the lyrics of the first demo back in 1984? It's not like about, so do you know the vocalist's favorite color and what he likes to eat and drink. So it's a different thing than asking for some anecdotes or like favorite things than just like judging people because of that. Hang started working on an album. Fantastic. Yeah, Blitz War, glad you liked the answer. Oh, SK, I feel sorry that she was acting annoying ways, but that's what happens. Oh, you missed Dana about it. Well, Dana is cool. Yeah, maybe she was a poser, like Dana said. Yes, Gerald. The funny thing with Evergrey is, I mean, they're kind of a powery metal, but I think they're more very, very melancholic, progressive metal. I don't wouldn't call them power metal. I mean, the vocals are more, I guess, almost like how would I say it? AOR progressive metal stuff, having gent elements and all that stuff. It's very melancholic. In one way, Evergrey is basically like the progressive or just metal version of Pink Floyd in a way. I mean, the later ones. So it's almost like AOR gotten metal. Very melancholic, very personal lyrics and all that stuff. So I like it. Yeah. I mean, I like Pink Floyd. I love later era Pink Floyd. And it was funny because when I went to interview Evergrey, I hardly know the band at all. I had only listened to like maybe two albums. Went to pick the brain of the bass player. I was like clueless. It was fun to do because I was so clueless. It was like I really hadn't any background information. So I was like just asking questions like, Hey, I'm meeting this band for the first time, and then I fall in love with the band with their 2019 album. So it was great. Raymond, glad you understood my sex metaphor. Bowel movement routine. Can't say I know that one. I actually met Dana Duffy, that is, in Finland a few years back. I mean, we got mutual friends, so yeah. Waldman, I haven't heard the new Sodom album. No, no idea what's it all about. Gotta say, never gave Blind Guardian a proper chance, so I'm kind of a I'm a wrong person to comment it. Hey, I actually made it reading all the back scroll. And what we have running the stream for 1 hour 20 minutes. Now I'm just finishing the beer. You keep me way too busy. All right, people, do you have more questions, or can I just fuck off and start playing that God of War and start streaming it on Rauta? Technically speaking, though, I must say I have two CDs to be packed for Rauta patrons, including Mr. SK here. So feel free to thank him for being a biggest supporter of Rauta channel via Patreon. That means he has helped personally. He has helped a lot of Rauta to do a lot of these interviews, because without Patreon supporters' money, trips to Midgard's Plot or Inferno would probably not have happened. So, in case you want to thank some people for making interviews possible with, for example, with Celtic Frost, or in this case, Dom G Warrior, and Murok School, Order, Cadaver, Dark Fortress, and lots of others, including those Midgard's Blood interview ones, Einherjar, Helheim, um, Borgnagar, Mork, and among others. Well, it's thanks to Patreon supporters made it possible. So thank you, people. And it's also because of Patreon supporters, Inferno 2023 trip is happening, because it with Patreon support money, how the hodl was booked. So once again, my thanks go to the Patreon supporters. Thank you, dear people. Without you, we wouldn't do these overseas interviews. Not as many as it would anyway. All right, Brian Mons, thank you so much. Glad to have you back there. Um, Early the Flames, actually, I think it's pretty good. I remember Subterranean being my favorite In Flames release back in the days, and my favorite album of In Flames was this Chester Race. The first one, whatever Lunar Strain it was actually pretty good. Um, and after Chester Race, they started kind of softening their sound and not being as catchy. So I pretty much gave up with the Horacle album. Um, so I haven't really been following In Flames since Horacle. Now, I was actually yesterday listening to the Halo Effect album, which has ex members of In Flames or something like that, and also Dark Triangle, the vocalist, if I remember correctly. And that was surprisingly good, in my opinion. It's not really something that I listen to like with big joy and all that stuff, but I must say the Halo Effect was better than I was, expecting it to be. Like I said, not really something that I am going to buy and put it in my shelf. No, but it was just better. I was expecting kind of a lukewarm experience, and it was like actually pretty decent. So yeah. And yeah, Bremons, regarding the CDs, the thing here is now that I'm going to be away for a few months, starting in around New Year's Eve, it means that during the time I'm away from Finland, I might not be able to send CDs to Patreon supporters. Of course, I will send them later on. Now, if I happen to get, however, CDs to the new place where I will be for roughly 5 6 months, of course, then I can use those CDs to keep mail them, even though I'm not at home. So might be actually something that I can do, even though I am going to be away. But I don't know it yet. I don't know it until I have actually moved house to this new place. So we'll see about that. Yeah, SK, and I'm gonna just pack you a new one. I was supposed to do it before the stream, but I will do it after the stream. But I guess you got my October package just the other day. Yes, Oscar, there are still a few Rauta shirts available. I think we have. I think we're out of L and XL. I don't think I always say we because it's just me. Uh, if my Excel sheet is correct about the numbers, I think I have XXXL, XXL, M, and S. So those sizes are still available. And I'm planning to do new router shirts later on, but when, I don't know. Brian, did I send you Bathory for real? I guess you got the Gorgonthor's one, the MCD maybe. But I send sometimes I send the good stuff, something I send some weird stuff. I don't know. It depends. Oh, by the way, now that you're talking about Gorgonthor's, we're going to play with them 10th of December. Actually, their bass player Sami was on the same cruise, Nordic Metal cruise, with me and my pals last weekend. We had some good time, good chat, and all that stuff. Nice guy for real. So it's gonna be very cool to play with those guys. And yeah, their vocalist Corvus is ex Horna vocalist. Some people actually consider that the best Horna vocalist era, but that's of course um, an opinion among others. Oh yeah, SK already said that it's probably the best Horna vocals. Oh, Brendan's, yeah, baptism. It was actually not from my review pile, but one of those not distro CDs, but something that I traded, something that I have had for my sales list for some quite some time. And they said, like, what the fuck? What I usually want to do with those CDs included in the Patreon package is, like, for example, if you're from United States, I will rather send you something from Scandinavia, Norway, Finland, Sweden. And if you're, like, for example, in Finland and being Patreon, I will probably send you some American, South American, or North American ones. So I try to favor people from having more exotic CDs. So yeah, that's why SK is probably getting more Finnish or Swedish CDs from me than, for example, there's this Finnish Patreon guy with, and then I tried to send him non-Scandinavian ones. So I've tried to balance things out because I know, for example, if you guys were, ordering a baptism CD from Finland, the shipping cost would be just quite a lot too much versus if you would be just, ordering a domestic band CD. So that's why I want to send you something more exotic to save you the shipping cost, and also maybe get you something that you might not have heard. That's the idea here. Yeah, and Baptism has good vocals and also a nice band. Merciless, I don't think it's very likely that I will ever run of out of interesting bands to interview. Um, in my opinion, it doesn't really matter if you play extreme metal or just metal. I think intelligent and interesting people are more interesting thing to have rather than going with the music style. Let me put it this way: there are bands that do great music, but not might not have the most interesting opinions or views of life, and vice versa. There might be a band with shitty music, but really interesting and intelligent people behind the band. So it's not like I'm running out of bands that I would like to interview. Or like I once said, when somebody asked me about, in order what I would like to do in terms of interviews, I would love to interview every fucking band on earth, especially metal band. That is. Now, of course, that's a far-fetched idea because even reviewing most of the bands, just check out Metal Archives and you will find there are more than 150,000 metal bands listed. Now to get interviewed, like even some of them, like 1%, it would be just mind blowing. But yeah, if I could, do interview like every week, I would fucking love to do it. But not likely to happen. And yeah, like you said, Waterloo was something different and interesting, but something totally unexpected band on my wish list. Well, definitely, if I could interview, say, Pink Floyd, I would fucking love to do it. Or if I get to do interview some of those dark ambient artists, I would definitely love to do it. Or soundtrack composers, I would fucking love to do it. But of course, I try to keep the focus on metal because, well, Rauta is after all a metal channel. So yeah, lots of things to do. Yeah, SK, I think you deserve more attention being a really, really great supporter. So more than happy to mention you. I just hope that you are okay with it. Yeah, Purity Through Fire is a good label. So glad to know they ship things well. Laporte, thank you. It's nice to hear that you liked the Inquisition interview. I know it was a very, very long one with two episodes in all, over 70 minutes of talking. But I'm happy that you found it deep and interesting. Thank you so much. I hope that those other interviews will be interesting to you as well. Yes, Trevor Lamb, I really agree. Definitely one of my highlight interviews of all time would be Inquisition, Tom G Warrior, and Zemiel. There are some others which I am probably forgetting right now, but at least those three ones would be my favorite ones because they're all, in my opinion, intelligent and also, well, deep in a way, like you said it. Yes, Dragonian ambience is very fucking great, or ambient. Yes, please. Were definitely Fenrir's interview would be among my number ones list. I don't know if I would actually like to interview Nocturno Calto more than Fenris, but yeah, Dark Throne interview would be definitely you know in the top tier for Rauda interviews, and of course Burzum. That's kind of a given, I guess. If I could choose No, okay, I'm gonna say it like that. I was going to see if I could say choose top two interviews to be done, but let me put it this way: among my favorite ones to do would be definitely Metallica and Burzum. As strange as it may sound, but I would like to do both the big and the small ones. Metallica because I grew up with it. Burzum because he's so fucking controversial. And John, about Mikko Aspa. We have been talking with Mikko Aspa since last year, the possibility to do interview. And Mikko Aspa tentatively said that he would do interview with Rauta. But when and where, I don't know. But it's possible that Mikko Aspa interview will someday happen. But don't know. Yes, Waldemar, Dark Ambient definitely gives the chills. Yeah, yeah, thank you. The Samuel one is definitely one of my favorite ones. But yeah, Aspa one, I don't know. Fenris one, I don't know. Uh, Maybe when I go again to Norway, who knows if I can push some of my contacts. You're like, hey, get Fenris on the table. Let's fucking do it. But I don't know. Hard to say. Yeah, John, I got what you mean. I know that you meant an interview, not review. But yeah, Vari or Burzum interview, that would be fucking great. But I mean, given that Burzum doesn't really do gigs, it's not like I just take a flight to his home and then just would do interview. So not likely to happen. Would be great, but not likely. Yes, merciless. It would totally go like that. Yeah, let's start with introducing who is the man of the hour. Let's find out. And then just some, tuning for the fucking chainsaw on the yard. And my cameraman looking at the like, okay, you're trying to figure out how the lawnmower now works, right? And he's sharpening his tools. Now, when I was still living in Oslo, um, I find Euronymous very, very annoying. And then I wanted to kill him. Yes, I was on my way to kill him. Now, what was your question again? Oh, me having 8 children. But I was on my way to kill Euronymous, and that's when it happened. And then I found the key to the door. Okay, let's not do it. Uh, yeah, sorry. I was just thinking of the latest Persian album. He was basically doing the vocals like that. So who knows? Who knows? Yeah, Jaro Lamb is totally right. Might be that Varg doesn't even like the metal community. I mean, he has been kind of an outcast in a way, and he has put himself in a position that metal community is almost like pushing him outside, except for the fans, of course. But I mean, yeah, I guess he kind of enjoys the outcast role, really. Yes, yeah, yeah. The only shame I, had with not interviewing Necro Butcher when I interviewed Mayhem in 2019 was that I couldn't ask the question about, so, sir, were you really on your way to kill Euronymous or was it just a lot of bullshit? But I got to ask Attila about that, and he was like, fuck. So, yeah. Yeah. Um, oh, Benji, nice to know that you like Zemiel. Zemiel is good music too. And Warscott is probably one of the smartest people ever I met in metal music. I really like the guy. I respect his humor and his thoughts and all that stuff. And it was wonderful to meet him. Actually, that's how I got to know him. We didn't know each other personally, but after that, we've been in touch. And it was also great to meet the prescriptor from Absu with that interview. So it was like getting two birds with one stone. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, and I think Fender's interview would be really entertaining because I know he's a chill guy. I once talked to him, that was in Inferno 2004, but when I asked him back then about an interview possibility, he was just saying like, "Man, I just want to play records." He was DJing, so it didn't happen obviously. But even back in the days, and this was mind you 18 years ago, he was already this kind of a chill dude who wasn't stressing too much about, answering interview and whatever. Yeah, Dipper, I've been in touch with one of the Armageddon guys, and I know one of the guys lives in rather up north, kind of isolated, and I think he would like skiing. Me personally, not so much. But I would do a fucking skiing interview if that was something that we needed to do in order to make that interview. Yeah, definitely. And Brian, I agree. Mayhem are still, or actually, once again, doing good music. Yeah, yeah. I totally agree. Negro Butcher alcohol in interviews is not probably the best idea. Definitely not. Yeah, Burzum is clearly. I mean, Burzum has been clearly inspired by Bathory. It's kind of a given. Hammerheart is probably the best Bathory album of all times. 10 out of 10. One of the best albums ever. Thank you, Lex. I did my best what I could on the spot. Benji, thank you so much. Glad you liked that interview. And yeah, he is great pair with Proscriptor. And definitely Grant Belial's key interview would be interesting to do. I would definitely like to do it. Yeah, Brian Monster, Trash Era Bathory. That's just bad. I mean, Requiem Octagon. It's horrible. Compared what he did with, Blood, Fire, Death, Hammerheart, Twilight of the Gods, just god tier fucking music. But then again, it Requiem Octagon. So it's not that unpopular opinion, really. There are other people thinking like that. Octagon and Requiem, no way, fucking Jose. Destroyer of the Worlds, that's a hit and miss. It has some great songs, it has some lukewarm songs, and then it has more like what the fuck, like that ice hockey song, Sudden Death, if I remember correctly. Hello, Ireland. How are you doing, Ray? Is everything great on the island of Ireland? Do you have some scumbags in Ireland? Yeah, you, Brian, you should totally listen to Hammerhard rather than being on the stream here. And I should be probably playing some game now. Blood and Ice is fucking great album as well. And Age, no insight on the release is in for a Profundus label. I think there was one album I recently requested. Um, Let me see. Um, uh, uh, uh. Yes, Trembling Void coming from Inferna Profundus is something that I asked for review because that was so good. Will it happen? I don't know. Yeah, Merciless. I think a lot of people overlook Master's Hammer because, first of all, they didn't have the Scandinavian boost, which of course Mayhem had. And I mean, well, Bathory was even before them. But Master's Hammer is not maybe so obvious choice. Maybe they also lacked promotion. Maybe they had unorthodox approach to black metal. But yeah, yeah, yeah. Blood on Ice. Yeah, might be hockey reference too, but I don't know. And that was so. early done, so hard to say for sure. Yes, SK, I hope you get your stereo system back. So things will be rock and roll. Yes, Roland, Sweden and Finland are big on ice hockey, and they're kind of eternal enemies to one another. I think Finland kind of has like three, arch enemies. Sweden number one, but I think Russia and Canada comes after that. What else? Bloodfire. That fuck. That is so good album. Voltman, I would definitely do Vader interview, but I mean Vader haven't been around lately, so it's not like there have been possibility to do them for a while. Hello, Natred. No, haven't seen Marty lately. I don't know where Marty is. To be honest, I had this crazy idea of doing one Marty video at the gym, but I don't know if it would be suitable to do Marty video at the gym, so didn't do it. Oh, Fortress is great. One of the really good ones from Quebec area. Did interview with them as well at Steel Fest some 3 years ago. I was really surprised they know the channel back in the days. It was really really weird. I mean, weird that I didn't expect them to know the channel 3 years ago. What the fuck? Oh, that's a nice anecdote, Benji. So Brian Mons, is it too touchy because they're kind of ready to, you know, separate Quebec area from the English parts of Canada? Yeah, Nadred, that's a $1 million question. By the way, it's Marty with two T's. Martty. Sorry, I. Under the sign of the black mark is fucking great as well, by the way. Oh yeah, Brian Munson. I mean, I get it. Um, I know that these Fortress and Deletier and some other French-speaking Canadian bands, well, they kind of want to be separated from the English part. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, Deletier is very great. I was happy to interview them as well. Yeah, but Nedwood, it's not martini. Like it's not the drink. It's not the drink. You get the idea because you're from that part of American accent. Okay, am I right? Am I right? Benji, totally agreed. Okay, guys, I need to go to Canada one day and all that stuff. So, do you think I'm ready to go? You don't probably need me anymore. You can just have fun and run and all that stuff. Deeper no idea about the ski tracks in my area. I guess it depends whether or not the sea is frozen and all that stuff. No, I think it's almost 2 hours in. And while you guys have been entertaining me with your questions and comments and all that stuff, it's time for me to go and get back to you with the December stream. And I need to set up some laundry to dry. My washing machine is done, and I kind of want to start playing that God of War Ragnarok. But before I go, a couple of pointers. Those who haven't yet joined Rauta's Discord for, I don't know, cool talks or whatever, do it. Don't be afraid of Discord. It's easy to use. It's a chat program which you can use mobile or PC. Both work well. And it's cool way to just have daily talks. Also, check out the other channel, Rauta Beyond, if you want to know me or my content beyond metal. If you don't, it's fine. And of course, check out Rauta's Facebook page, Rauta's Instagram. I mean, I like this Martti content. I don't post it on YouTube. Maybe I should now that these short videos are trending and all that shit. And but Facebook and Instagram will have those Martti videos. If you don't know what I'm talking about, they're the goofier side of Rauta. And yeah, check out Rauta's podcast. It's on Spotify and it's on Rauta's Patreon and all that stuff. You can ask me weird kind of stuff. Yes, Draconian Rauta Discord. It's a Discord server for Rauta. So you can pretty much check it out. And yes, Nadrid, always eternal laundry struggle and all. And I know Discord is not for everybody, but if you want to have daily chat, I will be there, at least 5-6 days a week anyway, when I'm working or doing stuff like that. I'm chatting there while I work or whatever. And of course, mentioning what I listen to and discussing that and all that stuff. So lots of channels to reach me and expand your Rauta experience, if you want to call it that. But if it's fine if you just want to enjoy Rauta channel, I don't judge. You do what the fuck you want. And thank you, Brian. Thank you, Natrit. Thank you, SK. Thank you, a lot of people, Benji and the like, who have been part of the stream tonight. You always entertain me. You're fun to talk to and answer your questions. You have good questions and all that stuff. And all that stuff. Oh, yeah, Natrit, I get your point. Some of the younger generation is some kind of face palming experience, but hey, that's what we have to deal with. And Brentmons, I will definitely check it later on and all that stuff. Oh, Nocturne, I'm just leaving. I'm fine. I'm being very busy, but doing well. Just more interviews need to be done and all that stuff. And once I'm done with the laundry, I will start God of War Ragnarok and go kill some Viking badass monsters and all that stuff. So, yes, SK. And that sauna invitation goes for you if you come to Steelfest. So all that stuff. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me, people. I gotta go. Next stream should be early December. I will notify you the date as soon as I know. So see you again, people. And once again, if you miss streams like a cardiac here, you can always join for Discord for more talk. So take care and stay metal, stay true, stay honest, and all that shit. Bye-bye.